Protesters clash with police in Paris as hundreds of people rally, calling for justice after a gunman opened fire in a mainly Kurdish neighbourhood.
Ukraine reports more than 60 attacks on Kherson in 24 hours on Friday as the US pledges billions of dollars in military aid.
Travellers in the UK and France scramble to make it home for Christmas as strikes continue to disrupt the transport industry.
Chinese hospitals are under pressure as COVID-19 cases spike following the relaxation of the country's zero-tolerance policy.
More clashes have broken out in Paris as hundreds of people rally, calling for justice after a shooting in a mainly Kurdish neighbourhood. 3 people were killed and many more injured on Friday when a gunman opened fire at a Kurdish cultural centre and nearby cafe. From the moment this happens on French territory, this woman says, with a known person who has a criminal record and has been out of prison for 10 days. How can this person be armed with so much ammunition while walking around Paris and only attack Kurds? Yesterday's shooting has stunned Paris's 10th district, a community preparing to commemorate the unresolved murder of 3 activists 10 years ago. Police have arrested a 69-year-old man who authorities say had recently been freed from detention as he awaits trial for attacking a migrant camp.
Russia and Ukraine continue their give and take on the front line and in the occupied regions. Moscow bombarded newly liberated Kherson, shelling the area more than 60 times over 24 hours on Friday. While in Melitopol, 2 people were injured in a car bomb attack, which Russia has described as a terrorist incident. President Zelensky has returned to Kyiv after a satisfactory visit to Washington and said he will intensify his diplomatic efforts to attract more countries to his cause, especially in Africa, Latin America and the Global South. On Friday, the Democratic-led House of Representatives approved $45 billion of military aid for Ukraine.
Indeed, this bill puts people over politics.
But in Russia, President Putin won't back down. He's spoken about increasing the war efforts. He hopes his plan for the procurement of weapons will be fully implemented in the coming year.
Some of these people at Marseille train station won't be home for Christmas after France's national rail operator announced major service cancellations due to a strike. Trade unions have now agreed to lift further strike action for the New Year's Eve weekend. But for some travellers, it's too late. In fact, I'm torn, this traveller says. I understand the fight of SNCF employees. I also understand those who are at the end of their tether because you want to join your family and you just can't. In England, rail passengers have been rushing to catch the latest trains as Christmas Eve services end due to further strikes. Most rail services finished late Saturday afternoon before RMT union staff begin industrial action in the evening. People heading home for the festive period have been hit with delays or cancellations throughout the day. Postal workers and Border Force staff are also walking off the job.
China is battling a fresh wave of COVID-19 infections, which is putting pressure on many hospitals in Beijing and in small cities and towns southwest of the capital. Waiting rooms and wards are packed with elderly patients waiting to be treated for severe COVID-19 symptoms, and intensive care units are turning away ambulances. This month, the country rapidly dismantled its unpopular zero-COVID strategy, getting rid of snap lockdowns, long quarantine periods and travel curbs. In Qingdao alone, authorities have reported that the eastern city is seeing over 500,000 new COVID-19 cases per day. The Chinese government has reported only 7 COVID-19 deaths since restrictions were eased. But on Tuesday, a health official said that the country is only counting deaths from pneumonia or respiratory failure in the official death toll. There are fears, therefore, the real number is much higher.